Okay, so good morning class. I'll be discussing here example regarding our discussion, which is the properties of limits. Okay, so like we have mentioned, limits can be added, can be subtracted, can be divided, it can be multiplied and even raised to a certain power, or even can be applied by a logarithm. So it depends on the case. Now we have here one of the example, which is this one. Wait. Which is this one. Here. So we have here an example. 1. So supposedly, we have here the limit of f of x is equal to, and the limit of g of x is equal to 3. We are to calculate the limit of this function. As you can see, we are given here g of x. Okay, we have the negative 3f of x. We have to get first the square of f of x and then add it to g of x. Now, if you can observe class, we can observe that the operation is already, what do you call this? Combination. Meron tayong subtraction, meron tayong multiplication, we have a power, and we have division. Okay? And if you could recall class, in our what do you call this? In our discussion last time, we have said that before applying any operation, so we have to evaluate first your limits. Okay? So therefore, since we have already here the value of the limits, like the limit of f of x is 2 and the limit of g of x is 3. So all we have to do is substitute it here. Okay? So before that, let us first write our function here in the Microsoft Word. Okay, this one. So let us first write okay, so the value here of limit of f of x equals to, as x approaches 1, equals 2. Okay, while the limit of g of x as x approaches 1, kindly correct that last, it should be approaches 1, is equal to 3. Okay, so we are to evaluate the limit of g of x as x approaches 1 if g of x minus 3 times f of x all over f squared x plus g of x. Okay? Now class, like we have mentioned, we have first to evaluate before substituting here. So since we have here already the values, we have 2 for f of x and g of x is 3. So to evaluate this one, or this quantity here, so we will simply substitute. Okay? So we will substitute here we have g of x. Okay, wait lang. We have here g of x, the limit of g of x is 3. Okay? Minus 3 times the limit of f of x, which is 2, all over, we have to square the f of x, or the limit of the f of x. So the limit of f of x is 2, so 2 squared plus the limit of g of x, which is 3. So therefore, from here, okay, we have 3 minus 6 all over 4 plus 3. So that is negative 3 over 7. So therefore, the limit class of this function here is this one. Okay? So that's the example number 1. Do you have any question for this? Next question, or next example is this one. Okay, we have here a combination again. We have a division. We also have a power here. And we have here a radical. Okay, and we have addition also. Okay, wait lang ha. Let us check. Wait lang. Okay, so there are 13 people watching. Are you there? Can you please comment? Okay, so they are already commenting. Okay, so there are 13 people watching. Are you there? Can you please comment? Okay, so they are already commenting. Mendoza. Okay, so there are 13 people watching. Are you there? Can you please comment? Okay, they are already commenting. Very good to those who are already commenting. There are 13 people watching. Are you there? Can you please comment? Okay, they are already commenting. Very good to those. Kindly comment class if you have your question. Okay, kindly comment ha if you have question class. Okay, so let us proceed with the next example, which is like I have said, we have limit of 4x squared plus 1 plus square root of x as x approaches 9. Okay, so in this problem, hindi siya yung parehas kanina na andyan na mismo yung yung tawag dito. Ito andyan na mismo yung limit, right? The value of the limits, which are 2 and 3. In this case, wala pa. So we have first to evaluate. Can you follow? Let us first evaluate what will be the limit of 4x squared, tapos ano yung limit ng square root of x, bago natin sila i-substitute dito. Can you follow, class? And to do that, let me first copy the value here in our Word, this one. So our given is 4x squared plus 1 plus square root of x. Okay? We are to get the limit as x approaches 9. Is that correct? Let me check. So 4x squared plus over 1 plus square root of x. Okay. So now, based from this, okay, like we have said before, we perform the operation. Okay, we have to evaluate first the limits of each. So let us first evaluate the limit of x squared. Okay, because class, as you can see here, we have 4x squared, okay, which is a product, or the x squared itself. This is a function that you have to apply power. So let us first get the limit of x squared as x approaches 9. Okay, so what will be the value? So obviously, simply substitute. Okay, so simply substitute 9 squared. So that would be 81. So therefore, the value of this x squared here is 81. Now, how about for the limit of this one, square root of x? Square root of x as x approaches 9. So simply, what? Simply square root of 9, that is 3. Okay, so therefore, the value of the limit of this square root of x is 3. Or, if you can directly substitute it, class, much better. Okay? What we are showing here is the actual solution that you really have to evaluate first before applying the operation, whatever operation there is. Kung mag-a-add ka ba, magsa-subtract, or magde-divide. But like I've said, you can directly substitute it, whatever value of x here, okay, directly substitute it there. So simply, we have the limit of x approaches 9 is simply 4 times 9 squared over 1 plus square root of 9. Ganyan. Or pwede mong gamitin yung etong value, yung kaninang sinolve natin, yung 81 tsaka 3. Kasi yan supposedly yung gagamitin natin, right? That we have to evaluate first. So, if you can see, they are just the same class because 4 times the limit of x squared is 81. And 1 plus the limit of square root of 9 is 3. Which is, as you can see, they are just the same. Okay, so any of this method, you can first evaluate the limit before applying the operation, or you can directly substitute the value of x. Okay, so using your calculator, class, 4 times 81 is 324 divided by 4, so that is 81. So the answer, class, is 81. So the limit of this function as it approaches 9 is 81. By the way, class, if the quality of the video is not okay, kindly go to settings and select quality, and then check the 720. Okay, so I guess naputol yung yung stream natin. Okay, so let us proceed with the next example, which is this one. We are to find the limit of 2x log x cubed. Okay, we have a little bit of complicated, class, na kind of equation. So let us first write this in our word. So 2x log x cubed. 2x log x cubed. Okay. So let us write it here, 2x log x cubed. Log x cubed. 2x log x cubed, and then limit as x approaches 10. Okay, 2x log x cubed. Now, what can you observe, class? We have here a combination of power. Eto, meron tayong power. Meron din tayong logarithm. By the way, this is log. And we have product. Okay, so combination na. So, mahirap-hirap na siya, class. Now, like I have mentioned earlier, so you can first evaluate it, and then after that, you substitute the value, or pwede rin na direct na lang na i-substitute. Okay? So, I guess mas madali yung direct substitute mo agad yung x, value of x. So, in this case, so simply put in the value of x, which is 10 in this case. So, simply to evaluate this, so 2 times, let us use bracket, 2 2 times 10, we have logarithm of x cubed. So x is 10, so you have to cube that and then close bracket. So as you can see, we have here a product of 2 times 10 and then logarithm of 10 raised to 3, or that is 1,000. Okay, so let us first simplify the equation. We have 20 log 1,000. Okay, so simply using your calculator, so we have 20 log 1,000 log 1,000. And the answer is 60. Okay? Now, what can we learn from this class? By the way, that's the answer already, class, ha? That's the answer already. What can we learn from this? We can learn that in order for us to evaluate the limit, whatever operation there is, you simply put in your what? X. Okay? You're simply substituting it in order for you to evaluate. Okay? So kindly screenshot class the examples. Again, that is how we can evaluate limits, by simply putting in your x, the value of your x, in the equation or in the function for you to evaluate the limit. Okay? Very easy, class, right? Now, what if, another question, what if when you evaluate the limit, this is the result? Okay? What if you substitute the x, the result is 0 over 0, infinity over infinity, 0 times infinity, 0 raised to 0, infinity raised to 0, 1 raised to infinity, infinity minus infinity. What if ganito yung pag-substitute mo? Kasi class, hindi lang all the time is ganito eh. Hindi all the time ganito yung ina-approach ng x natin na approaching a real number or a finite number. There are examples just like this, class, just like this. This one. What can you observe? The x approaches infinity. Okay? And if that happens, there's a possibility that the result of the limit is like this. Can you follow? It could be that it is undefined. Diba? That's the usual result. It could be that the denominator is infinity or 0, 0 over 0, 0 raised to 0. What if ganito yung maging result natin? So, the limit, class, will be indeterminate. From the term itself, indeterminate, you cannot easily determine it. But is there a way that we can determine the limit? Yes, class. Okay? Yes, we can still find the limit of such functions. Okay? Now, recall or remember that if eto yung magiging result natin, there's lots of ways or methods that we can use. Okay? We can factor. Are you familiar with factoring? You can factor, you can do the conjugate, you can get the conjugate, you can evaluate rational functions if it is approaching infinity, or we can use the L'Hopital's rule. Okay? So for us to understand this, let us discuss each of these methods. Okay? Let's first have this factoring. Let's say we have here a given function, x squared minus 1 all over x minus 1. Okay. Now, you are to evaluate the limit. The limit as x approaches 1. Can you follow? Now, sabi natin, para ma-evaluate ng limit, simply put in the value of x, right? Now, if you substitute 1 in the equation, what will be the result? Okay, tingnan nga natin. Let's put it first in the, this one. X squared minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay, x squared minus 1 over x minus 1. So we have a limit of x approaches 1. Okay, so we have said all you have to do is put in the 1. So 1 squared minus 1 over 1 minus 1. What can you observe? 1 squared, how much? It will be 1. So 1 minus 1, right? 1 minus 1. So 1 minus 1, how much? 0. 1 minus 1, another 0. So as you can see, this is 0 over 0. Now if you could recall, what is the result if our answer is 0 over 0? Now let's go back here. If the limit is 0 over 0, we have said that it is indeterminate. Okay, indeterminate. So therefore, para malaman natin yung limit, what we will do. Okay, so let us try factoring. Ano yung ifa-factor natin, class? Ifa-factor natin is yung given function. Okay? We have to factor out the given function first so that we can avoid having this 0 over 0. Okay? How to factor ulit? Can you recall how to factor? All you have to do is determine first what is the common, or simply you can factor out the same variable, or way back in your algebra, if you could recall, class, x squared minus 1 is equivalent to what? X squared minus 1 is the same as x minus 1 times x minus 1. Am I right? Is that x minus 1? Let us check. X minus 1. Let us check, ha, if this is correct. X squared minus x. I know, it should be x squared plus. Okay, let us try this. Sum of the okay. This one. So if you multiply this, it will become x squared. We have minus x plus x minus 1. Okay, so this will become 0. So the equation will be equal to x squared minus 1. So therefore, class, we can substitute, instead of x squared minus 1, we will have this x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay? And we have here x minus 1. Now, looking at the equation, we can simplify it. Okay, tama si Pio Quinto. Okay, nakita ka si Pio Quinto, nag-comment siya. Okay, x minus 1 plus x plus 1. Indeterminate. Okay, very good. Very good, you are following. Pio Quinto. Now, what can we cancel out from here? So we can cancel out the expression x minus 1, which will simplify our equation to x plus 1. Can you follow? X plus 1 na lang. So therefore, in this given, so our equation will be simplified into, this will be limit of x plus 1. This one. X plus 1. And as you can see, from here, if we now get or evaluate the limit, it will become 1 plus 1. Or the answer is 2. Can you follow, class? So, hindi na natin or naiwasan natin yung indeterminate na result, which is hard to determine nga. But if you factor out your function or if you simplify your function using factoring, okay? Kasi class, they are just the same eh. Class, yung pag-factoring is hindi ibang equation ha. You are just simplifying it. Can you follow? Etong x squared minus 1, etong x squared minus 1 over x minus 1 is just the same as x plus 1. Okay? They are just the same. Therefore, the limit of x plus 1 and the limit of x squared minus 1 over x minus 1 are just the same, which is, based on our computation or evaluation, the answer is 2. Do you follow? So, ganun siya. So, kung yung mga lumabas, katulad ng sa sinabi natin is 0 over 0, o kaya naman infinity over infinity, o kaya 1 over 0, yung mga ganun, it's up to you kung magfa-factor ka or you use other methods. Okay? So, etong pinakita ko is by factoring. Okay? Now, next one. The next method is by getting the conjugate of one of the factors in our, or one of the expression in our given function. Ano ulit yung conjugate, class? Conjugate is somewhat yung partner niya. Halimbawa, yung expression mo is, eto, 2 minus square root of x. What do you think is the conjugate? So, yung conjugate niya is 2 plus square root of x. Can you follow? Ayan. So, yan yung imumultiply natin doon. Okay, so let us first write this in our word. Okay, let us see first. So, we have limit of x approaches 4, so we have 2 minus square root of x over 4 minus x. Okay. So, let us try to evaluate this one. Okay? Now, can we factor out this equation? Now, una muna, kasi di ba the first thing that comes to your mind para kung maglilimit ka, pag mag-evaluate tayo ng limit, is to directly substitute the x. So, let's try it. Let's try nga kung what will be the result. If you substitute 4, so 2 minus square root of 4 over 4 minus 4. Okay? Now, in this case, square root of 4 is 2. So, 2 minus 2, obviously, that will be 0. 4 minus 4 is also 0. So, therefore, your result is 0 over 0. See? So, this one is another indeterminate. So, therefore, we have to find, or we have to find a way or another method on how to evaluate this. And like we have said, you can do the factoring. Now, in this case, can we factor out, or can we factor 2 minus square root of x? No, we cannot. Okay? It will be hard. But rather, we can multiply its conjugate. What's the conjugate of this 2 minus square root of x? So, 2 minus square root of x, the conjugate is 2 plus square root of x. Okay? At ano yung gagawin natin sa conjugate niya? All we have to do is multiply it. Pero class, when we multiply, we have to make sure na hindi magbabago yung equation natin. Na yun pa rin yung equation. So, para magawa natin yan, we will multiply an expression na equivalent pa rin sa 1. Kasi class, kung ma-observe nyo, etong expression na to is still equivalent to 1. Right? 1 pa rin kasi 2 plus square root of x over 2 plus square root of x is just 1. Now, pag minultiply mo to sa original expression natin, So, di ba wala rin ng bago? Can you follow? Pero, meron lang changes. Pero, um, uh, technically speaking, walang nagbago. The same na equation. Yung itsura lang yung nagbago. Okay? Pero the question is, bakit natin minumultiply? It's because we have to change the equation para hindi natin or para maiwasan natin yung indeterminate na result in getting the limit. Okay? Now, if you multiply this expression now, what will be the result? Okay. Let us check. Okay, isa-isahin natin ha. Kasi the equation will become like this. So, 2 minus square root of x times 2 plus square root of x. Okay? All over 4 minus x times 2 plus square root of x. That will be our equation. So, how do you simplify this? So, 2, okay, we have to use a distributive property. So, 2 times 2, that would be 4. 2 times square root of x, obviously, that would be positive 2 square root of x. Okay? Now, next. This one. Negative square root of x times 2. That would be negative 2 square root of x. And negative square root of x times square root of x. What do you think is the result? That would be negative x. Class, that would be negative x. Why? Because your radical sign will be cancelled out. Can you follow? It will be cancelled out. But since negative and positive, so therefore we have negative there. Okay? Now, what can you observe from here, class? We can cancel out 2 square root of x and negative 2 square root of x. So, this will be eliminated from the expression. Okay? Now, how about here on the denominator? Okay, let us simplify. So, 4 times 2, that is 8. 4 times square root of x, that is positive 4 square root of x. How about this one? Negative x times 2, that is negative 2x. And we have here negative x times square root of x, that is negative x square root of x. Can you follow? Okay. Now, we cannot combine any of this, can we? We cannot. Okay? We cannot, class. It's because magkaiba ito o magkaiba sila. So, we cannot simply add them. Okay? So, therefore, what will be our equation then? So, this one, so we have 4 minus x over, we have 8 plus 4 square root of x. Class, kindly correct me pag may mali ako ha sa ano natin. X over, ayan. Okay. Kindly correct me pag nagkamali ako sa multiplication. Okay, i-double check lang natin. So, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so 2x, okay. So, makakancel siya. So, negative x. Well, this one, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. We have 4 square root of x, we have negative 2x, and negative, okay. Again, kindly correct me if there's something wrong with my equation. So, again, class, this equation now is our new equation. But again, this equation, which is our original, and this equation are now the same. Okay? They are just the same, pero iba lang itsura niya. Bakit the same? Kasi, yung ginawa natin, minultiply lang natin sa 1, sa conjugate niya, which is, etong expression is equal to 1. So, pag minultiply mo yan sa original natin, wala pa rin nagbago. Yung pinagbago lang is itsura. Pero, the thought of it is just the same. Okay? I hope na nafa-follow nyo, class. So, therefore, instead na ito yung i-evaluate natin for the limits, eto na lang. Okay? At ano yung purpose? para maiwasan natin yung result na indeterminate. Okay? Okay, so let us evaluate now. Limit of this. So limit of 4 minus x squared. So limit of this as x approaches 4. So ano yung gagawin? So we will simply put in the value of x. I'm sorry, nawala yung ano natin. This is 4. Okay, so substituting. Okay, so we have 4 minus 4. Tama ba? 4 minus 4 over 8 minus 8 plus 4 square root of 4 minus 2 times 4. How much is this? 2. This is minus, no? Is this minus? I'm sorry. Nawala yung ano natin. Minus. Okay, this is minus. Okay, so we have minus 4 square root of 4. There. Again, class, please kindly correct me pag may mali ako multiplication, ha? Kindly correct me. Now, 4 minus 4, how much? Obviously, that is 0. Okay? How about this one? 8 plus, kindly, 8 plus 4 square root of 4 minus 2 times 4 is 8 minus 4 square root of 4. Ayan. Ano pa rin siya? 0 over 0 pa rin siya, class. Tama? Kasi, tingnan nyo, class, 0 over 0 pa rin siya. Kasi, 8, eto, 8 din. So, 8 minus 8, 0 agad. Eto, 4 square root of 4 minus 4 square root of 4, 0 pa rin. So, indeterminate pa rin, class. Ayan, paano yan? So, ano yung gagawin natin? Okay. Wait lang. Baka mali yung ano ko. Baka mali yung ano ko nga. Yung conjugate ko. Sandali. Yeah, 0 over 0 siya, class. Wait lang. Baka mali yung conjugate ko. Tama naman. Paki-check nga, class, yung solution natin. Kung tama yung pag-multiply natin. Kindly check pala yung solution natin. This one. Sakto naman yung yung solution. Yung pag-multiply ba? Yung pag-multiply. This one. So, 2 minus square root of x over 4 minus x. 2 plus square root of x. Ayos naman. Okay, ayos naman. So what's the problem? 4 minus x. Tama naman, oh. Wait lang ha, check natin. Baka mali yung ano natin, yung pag-multiply natin, class. Tama naman yung conjugate. Sabi dito, the product of conjugates is always the square of the first thing minus the square of the second thing. Okay? Sige, try nga natin, class. Square of the first thing and square of the second thing. Sige. Square of the first thing is 4 and square of the second thing. So 4 minus x. Okay, and then okay, class. Okay, nakuha ko na. Okay, nag-gets ko na. Okay. Okay, go back tayo dito, class. Ito, oh. So, hindi pala na-simplify. That's why. Okay, this one, I'm sorry about that. If you go back here, Dito class, this one. This is 4 minus x, right? 4 minus x. Now, etong denominator natin, let us not evaluate it, but rather 4 minus x times 2 plus square root of x. Okay? So, we have to simplify it pala. Okay. So, as you can see, we can cancel out 4 minus x, which will make our equation what? It will become 1 over 2 plus square root of x na lang. Can you follow? So, nagiging, nasaan na siya? Ito na siya. So, para ma-evaluate natin yung limit as x approaches 4, so ito na lang yung equation natin. So, 2 plus square root of x. There. So, substituting, so 2 plus square root of 4. Ayan. So, 1 over 2 plus 2, so 1/4 siya. Can you follow? Ayan pala siya. Okay, I'm sorry about that. We have to simplify pala. That's why bumalik tayo sa 0 over 0 eh. Kasi hindi natin sinimplify. Okay? So, we really have to check it. So, that's why the answer is 1/4. Okay. So, ayan na. Tama naman pala yung conjugate natin. Hindi lang natin na-simplify. Okay? Now, next thing. By the way, class, don't forget to, what do you call this? To comment down below for your attendance. Only 10 to 11, ha? 10 to 11. Okay. Only 10 to 11 students are allowed to comment on the comment section. Okay. Next, we have here for the infinite limits and rational functions. Okay? Infinite limits and rational functions. Okay. So, if you can observe, these are a rational or a division. Okay? Fraction siya, pero it is approaching infinity. Okay? So, still, this example class is somewhat the result. We can expect the result is infinity over infinity, which is the same like this, This one, indeterminate pa rin. If we try to write this in our